We'll wait for maybe few minutes for people to join. There are a lot of RSVPs.
Hi everyone.
Hello. How is everyone doing? Oh, actually, I have a small task which I can give you while we are waiting for people. So we are planning our next sprint. And if you can just take very quick 2 minutes to fill this out, that will be very, very helpful. Either I'll do it at the end, but I can just ask right now.
I think this is the best time.
Yeah. Have everybody's attention.
Hey Abhishek, thanks for sharing the form. I just wanted to understand what typically happens in a sprint.
Okay. So basically, we do this every quarter, and actually, most of the people here are Glific users, so they kind of are aware. But for you, Anuradha, so we meet at an offsite with all of our India partners, and like so far, we've been doing it with a set of education cohort. There are about 30 organizations participating with 2 to 3 team members from each of the team, and we kind of discuss about Glific, how we use, get to know each other's programs. So that's like a cross-shared learning that happens across the room and the event, and it's a 3 to 5 days event which we do.
Okay, and it's for I'm assuming onboarded partners only.
Yeah, but I believe since you're starting soon, that's going to be quite okay.
Okay, great. And when do you plan to have this?
Yeah, check out the form. Basically, I'm looking for dates. I'm looking for dates, what are preferred for most of the people, so that we can plan our next sprint.
Okay, done. Sounds good. Thanks, Abhishek.
Okay, I think we have good number of people. We can get started. So hello everyone, you can turn on your video if you're comfortable, if you're feeling okay. Basically, what we're going to discuss here today is the latest, Sheets integration part into Glific. We observed that many of the organizations wanted to plan out their content in Sheets and then use it with Glific, not having to copy paste a lot of their content back in Glific. So that has been a theme for a while. So we just want to propose our solution. Actually, we've started developing it, but it's still early on where we can get a lot of your thoughts and questions, which will enable us to, build it in the best experience possible. So we're looking for like demoing the whole thing, the solution to you in probably half an hour, and then most of it should be question and answer, and you can thrash it out and let us know what works, what doesn't work. So yeah, you're the jury. Let us know what works. So any questions before we begin? Anything you had a chance to look at? Do you want to start off with something, saying something or asking something? Okay, cool then. Shaman, over to you. Please show us what you got.
Sure, Abhishek. Yeah, it's really nice to see like some familiar faces. meeting different screens. I'll quickly share my screen since Abhishek has already briefed you what we are going to talk about, sheet integration. So I'll start with a slide and presentation, and then we'll go to the demo of how we are planning to build it in Glific. Let me quickly share my screen, and host has disabled the participant screen sharing.
Hey, Vivek, can you please enable that? Okay, great.
Oh, and great, thanks. Let me share my screen. Let me know when my screen is up.
Yeah, it's up for me. Anybody can't see it?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, great.
All right, I'll start with the slideshow, and here's the fancy first page where we are trying to get you the attention what we are trying to build. So we are starting the sheet integration with Glific, and yeah, just quickly move forward. So disclaimer before like we move forward, like it is based on the most common use cases that we have seen across NGOs. Some like all of the use cases are not covered in this, but yeah, we have tried to come up with a pretty first version of a design where we have like that covers like most of the common use cases across NGOs. And yeah, based on your feedbacks, we can try to see and improve on that as well. So yeah, just a pretty disclaimer. Next, yeah. So like whenever like we work with NGO or work in an organization, so what do you think is the most simplest and most efficient way for an NGO to store data, content plans, and what is the easiest and like way to collaborate and share some data with colleagues? I think the answer is obvious. It's Google Sheets. Yeah, it comes here and there everywhere now. Like I just wanted to waste some content and share with my colleague. I want to like get details of some person. I'll quickly create a sheet and share it to someone. Sheet has become like the standard go-to for like the places that I've seen. I'm not sure like what everyone is doing across all of the organization, but yeah, so far with each of the NGO partners that we have seen, it has come across like a pretty good use case. Now, like how we are planning to use Sheets in Glific, we have already done it for some clients, but essentially what we do is like we create some content based on some particular criteria. Like suppose this criteria is where we have certain dates and we want to like schedule that message for each date. And this content can change over time. Now, right now, how we are doing is like going to Glific screen, creating a flow and updating that flow over and over again and again. That sometimes get redundant, like people don't want to go into flow and update that. Sheets, like as each NGO is much familiar, they just want to update the sheet and that should ideally reflect in Glific. And that is the core part that we wanted to bring in this. The main use cases are like scheduling content. If we like we have content for over 10 months for some NGOs, and I want to schedule and have a sheet for that. I don't want to update flows like daily. So that use case is one. And I want to like pull some data from the sheet, and that's in that data that can be changed over time. And last is like if for some NGOs they plan quizzes, so that data can also be changed. So that is some like pretty standard use cases for some of the NGOs. And like here's a sample sheet that I've shown where like for each date we want to send certain messages, and this can get updated over time. Yeah. So yeah, there's a philosophy like the developers that like Glific developers go by, and that is like try to make yourself obsolete and give more power to the users. So like if I am trying to build something, I'll think of how I can become obsolete in that case, and users can get more power. And because of that, like earlier we used to the NGO team wants to like get to talk with developers and they need to code something to get the sheet integration done. But now since we are introducing this integration feature, sheet integration, you can like own that and like connect your sheet and use that data within yourself. So with this, like NGOs can pull the data from a sheet and send that in the flows. So yeah, I think that works good for all. No, okay, now it's the demo time. Like right now we have some we had some ideas in like how we are trying to build that in Glific. We had some designs and we have started implementing that. So it's a first cut like how we are trying we have done it in development. It may not like it can break in between, but I'll yeah. No worries in that case. I'll quickly show you the whole part how we are trying to do that. Is the view. Yeah. So this is my sheet that I wanted to import in Glific, and I want to send this data on a daily basis. So how can I do that right now? Right now, there is no way. I need to contact Glific developer team. They'll pull content from sheet and then they'll do the whole part. But with this new feature, I'll go to my Glific screen. I'll go to sheet management. Oh, sorry, staff management. It's sheet management. Now I'll add a sheet. So I'll paste the URL. I'll say a sample Glific sheet and I'll save it. Okay, and the data is imported in Glific. Now you have this sheet imported in Glific, and you can see it in a new screen. You can refresh the data after updating. So now, yeah, the whole sheet is loaded in Glific, and how to use that now? I'll quickly go to flows, a flow that I've already created. I'll quickly go to that. It's a sample sheet flow. We have introduced a new node. You already have so many, so yeah, just one more to learn and get familiar with. So this is called a link Google Sheet node, where the sheet that I've already imported. So this is the Glific sheet that I imported in Glific. Now I want to, this is the main critical part. In this sheet, I want to select the first row and I want to send this message. So how do I do that in the flow? So there's something called as key in the sheet that will be unique across all rows. And here I'll provide that key, like whichever row I want to select. This can essentially be a variable like something at the rate date, which will be evaluated to different things. But yeah, for now, I'm just hard coding it to 110-2022, and this will pick up this row. And I'll just save it as sheet data or sheet only, it's fine. Now what I'll do is I'll send a message to a user with this @result.sheet. And now I need to pick up the column name, that is message English. And this will ideally be translated to an snake case convention because spaces are not allowed in Glific for now. Yeah. And yeah, quickly I'll just preview it. So yeah, as you've seen, this message came in from the sheet. Hi, welcome to Glific. Let me just try it out and do the second part. It's 210. Yeah. Okay. Now I'll just preview it again. Yeah. Now, as you have seen, this data got it from here. Essentially, I can use any of the data that you provide in video link or message Hindi with this variable thing. Yeah. So far, like this is what we have built, and there are certain other things that we have taken into consideration. But for the first part, we're just going to stop till here, like getting the sheet content and like using that in flows. Yeah, I think that is the whole demo. Abhishek, question should we take after this, or like I'll just?
Yeah, we can take question. So Shaman, like, can we see your magic trick now a bit slowly? If you go back
Sorry.
to the.
I'm really sorry about that. Yeah.
No
Okay,
worries. Yeah, go back to the flows.
Yeah.
So what's happening here is whenever you create a new flow and you want the content from sheets, you will basically select the sheet, right? So you have initialized all the sheets in the previous screen that Shamun showed you. All of your sheets will be listed there, right? Now, when you want to link it in flows, you will go here, select this node, link Google Sheet, and just with this drop down Glific sheet. Shamun, can you click? So right now it just shows you Glific sheet because we've used one sheet there, right? But if you have 10 or 2 or how many ever, all of those will be listed here for you to select, right? You'll select the sheet. Shamun, if you just click on that and move ahead. Now, basically, how you want to do is you want to select content or message from a specific column in the sheet, right? So now if you, Shaman, if you go to the sheets, the Excel.
Okay.
So yeah, here, what you'll kind of do is I want to send the first message, which is, hi, welcome to Glific to my users. And the way we are reading the sheet is we're going across rows and then, and then going into that specific column. So all of your sheets will be structured in a specific format. So if you want to send content and on a daily or a weekly basis, right? So depending on what your use cases, we'll try to come up with 2 to 3 different types of formats for you to prepare your sheet in. That will be the first step. Now, in each of the sheets, your first column will be the key, which will be the unique identifier for which row you want to go into. Right. So in this case, you want to send content every day. So what will happen is you want the function to go into row every day. So you'll basically you can select this the first row or the second row by its date using that specific second row as in this one by its date 1/10/2022, and you'll use this specific one into you'll copy that and use that key into go back into this select row. So now you've identified this is the row I want to go into. You've identified the row and you've saved the row as something as a variable like here. No, you can keep it one date, and then now if you go to save row as now here you're just saving it so that you can reference or you can pick up the column content. No, right. So you saved it, and this variable can be anything you want. It can be a date, it can be like you do for wait for response and other things. It will be any so you've initialized all of that. Click OK. Now in the next message, this is where you're pulling the content from the sheet. So the formula of to do that will be using that variable @results dot what you save that row as. Yes, Baiju, we are sharing the screen. Can you see Shamon's screen? Right, everybody can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, then you will say results dot your saved value dot. Now you want to pick you want to pick a column, so you'll just select that column name and put it after that dot. That's it. It will just bring that content into your flow, and then you'll continue building on it. So let's say if you want to send the next message, you'll create another node, and then you will here you will again say sheet dot message dot underscore English, and the order can be anything you want. It's not that the first column is the first message. You can bring it whenever you want. So that's how it will start rendering. And similarly, you will do for all your images, because the Google GCP link will be added in the sheet, and you'll just bring that cell again and it'll send that content. Right, Shamun? Or is there any other way to? Right. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
And then if you want to somewhere, if you want to go into more sophisticated use of sheets where you're using multiple sheets, then you'll again, after this flow, you'll again go to link Google Sheet, you'll select another sheet, and the process will repeat where, your content will be coming from the different sheet. Okay. Yeah, and similarly, like when if you're looking at it doesn't necessarily need to be date wise. Your key can be anything. It can be, let's say you set up as per contact name, or if you go to the sheet, Shaman, like let's say your key has the name of all of your contacts, and you've set up a simple function that if you match Abhishek, if the contact name matches Abhishek, then send them this content. Or so that way you can customize and create whatever conditions you want. Okay, great. I think now it'll be good to take questions so that it can be made more clear, or wherever you have any doubts, we can resolve that. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Can I go ahead?
Yep.
Yeah. So we have a use case where we have to, instead of read from a sheet, we have to write to a sheet. Do you have any plans regarding that?
Yeah, we have that in our roadmap, but yeah, it will not come pretty soon.
So right now we only have reading. Akash, the writing into sheet will be taken up later, not
Okay.
at the moment. Yeah. Shweta, you raised your hand.
Yeah, thank you, Abhishek. So my question was the last point that you mentioned. The key can be anything. So can you so contact number, phone number can also be the key, right? So if I
Yes.
want to send some different message based on the contact number, that can be done.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
So in that case, we can, Shaman, you can quickly share how that will be done in the sheet. Yeah. No, I mean, what variable do you need to use? Like if it's a phone number, then you need to go into the sheet. Here, instead of like a specific date, you will just say other rate contact dot their phone number. What is the variable for that?
Contact or
Phone.
phone.
Phone, yeah, okay. So contact dot phone. It will go through that key list, see if it matches the person who's sending the contact, who's sending the message, right? It will check if that matches with the sheet and then go into the next message and send it. And similarly, if you do at the rate, what is the variable for date, Shaman? Okay. So if you do calendar dot today, then it will check in key which date it is today. It'll say, okay, today is 1/10/2022, and then send that content. So you don't need to, specifically mention that specific date. You can also use variable like that.
Right,
Is
understood.
that
Got
clear?
it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's clear. I have
Yeah.
another question here. Mm, This works with attachments also, right? In the sample sheet, I think Shaman has added one URL, so that works, right? If we can go to images, like how we usually attach images in the flow, that works.
Yes, that is like coming up with the next phase. For now, like in attachments, you can't put up something like a variable right now. So there's something called expression that we'll use for now, that where we have to write Elixir code. But yeah, in the next phase, like we're trying to improve that as well. So where we can put variables in here. But yeah, for now, like if you want to have attachment, you need to write certain functions, which will document as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, otherwise, like you need to put a proper URL in this case.
Understood.
Tabrach, go ahead.
Yes, so my question is that for a like new project, we need to send 15-day ka flow to students on a daily basis, and every day the flow would be different. So if we like currently we have it on Google Sheets, we have created multiple worksheets and we have renamed it as day 1, day 2, day 3, similar like that. So how will we be integrating that here?
Do you have any specific dates to that, or you want to do it in
No,
a
we
way?
want whenever a child will like get the tablet, at that day they'll be starting. So there is no particular one fixed date. But then whenever they'll start with day 1 flow only.
So like you have 15 different flows for each day,
Yes, yes.
and based on date, you want to pick up a certain flow.
Not date. We
Yeah.
don't have a fixed date on which
Okay.
every child will onboard. Yeah. But then we want them to go through the entire flow day wise, like day 1 ka flow. Once that is finished, day 2 ka flow.
Okay. And in the sheet, like what data do you have for
We
each
just
day?
have
Yeah.
in the sheet we just have like lahi sender like functions like lahi. What are the like what is the message in English, Hindi, and multiple different languages? The buttons and list like what are the interactive messages? Okay, options and the attachments.
Okay. So like the way I can see is you can import 15 sheets to Glific, and for each flow, you can use that sheet and pick up content from there. Let me know
So
if
we
that, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
sorry.
For
So
now, like,
do we need to create 15 different sheet for that?
You can pick up like content from single sheet as well, but you need to provide some unique key in that case. So it can be day 1 / some like day one slash something, that will pick up that key and get the content from there.
Or we can
Okay.
think about it
Yeah.
and come up with the
Uh-huh.
best
Yes.
case. Thanks for that,
Hmm.
Prachi.
Okay.
So, Shaman, can you check Aparna's message? Saying, can we
Sure.
solve that problem by adding them to a collection and then based on their day, start the node from there?
Can like adding them to a collection and based on their day start a node from there. I did not like get it completely for now. So I added like 15 contacts in a collection.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yes, actually, Aparna, we had like currently we are like distributing tablets. So when we distribute tablet to someone, we know that the child is getting onboarded on a particular date. So we tried doing that. That in our phase one, we added all the students to our like collection. We'll send them a flow, and that's how the day one like flow will start. But then the problem arises that with most of our schools, students will be starting the flow on their own, so we don't know on which date a particular child will start the like flow, so we are not able to add them to a collection, which Aparna has mentioned.
Okay, Aparna, anything you want to add or say? Or okay. Anybody else? Any questions? I think, yeah, it'll be good to, if you, because many of you have the use case. So if you can think from your use case perspective and ask questions, it might help be prepared when the feature is released.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Hi Abhishek. So my use case is, so as you know, we use sheets also for some of our work, where somebody puts in the content on a Google sheet, and then I create flows for that. So I'm just looking in here key if maybe I can do something where I'll set up a flow such that it is the same data is pulled, content is pulled from the sheet, and the flow sort of gets created. The format remains the same, content changes. It's like 5 questions and some content and then a question and then some content and then a question. So it's a fixed format. The content changes. So I'm just wondering if instead of me having to put that all of that content and create flows for that, I can use this to just bring that content, as in create one template, and then I think with some logic integrate that sheet so that I have that flow.
Yeah, that's how it works. Sort of. That you will create one template flow. You don't have to create these flows multiple times. You just have to create this flow once. And with these variables, it will just keep pulling content from different rows.
And maybe I can set a variable that will change, and then based on that,
Correct.
you know.
So your variable
some
will
other
be like
row
this. Like this, @result dot sheet dot message column name.
and then I can keep increasing it, and then it can continue, I guess, right?
Yeah, it will keep increasing based on the key that you have. So that key can be date, like how do you say that now go to the next row, basically? So that something moves that flow forward, right? So in this case, the date moves that forward. In your case, there might be something else also that will be, moving it forward. And I think most of the cases should be date. Like, can you tell me what it will be in your case?
I think it will be a date only.
Okay. So date. Otherwise, you can just maybe keep the key 1, 2, 3, 4. If there is nothing else, and you can say that key keeps increasing, and you can that way the flow can move forward.
Sure, I'll experiment something.
And please do ask questions on this, because I know that even I found it quite challenging to at first like figure out how to build this how to design for it, how to make it as, intuitive as possible. So if you have any questions on like doesn't matter if it's basic or anything, please feel free to ask so that, we can really build it in a nice manner. Because I know I was asking a lot of questions, basic questions as well about it.
I joined a bit late, but based on the last question that I was hearing, I just wanted to understand whether multiple flows can be designed using a single sheet and each row corresponds to one flow. Is that how it's being done? Is that what you mentioned when you said it moves away? If you say results.sheetMessage.Hindi, which is one column, it goes to next column for the next message. So I understood that one row is one flow. Is that how it is?
You can, customize and design it the way you want, Ramesh. For example, meaning like you can also pull just one specific value from the entire sheet and not like your flow could be something standard or static. It doesn't need to have all the messages in the sheet. You're saying that I have this set of messages, but there's one message somewhere in between the flow, which is, a dynamic data, which I want to pull, which is stored in my sheet. So I want to pull it from there, and I don't want to have to copy and paste that for each flow. So basically, you can also customize it that way. You can put the entire flow in the sheet as well. And this couple of nodes like link sheet and then pull the reference the message will simply help you, pull that specific data or information from the sheet as well. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I mean, the way that you're talking about, it's almost like instead of storing a result variable as a JSON, you store the result variable as a Google Sheet, and then you use those values in the flow. You build the flow the normal way you build the flow in Glific, but then some parts of the flow, the value can come from the sheet.
Correct. And the entire flow can be sheet, a part of it can be sheet, it can be however you design, like whatever flow you want. Yeah.
In terms of speed, I mean, every time you refer to a variable from the sheet, does it take time? I mean, does it scale well?
Yeah, there was two parts. First, we thought to directly call the sheet API and get the data. That will eventually fail because if we make too many calls and it will break at some point. So what we did was pull the entire data into our own database. And that helps in the speed part where we are just getting the data from our database as from a normal table. So that will scale pretty well in this case.
Which is why in this, like when you in your sheet initialization screen, when you change values in the sheet, you need to go and refresh it so that it gets updated. So that updating sheet in here is not automatic. You need to go here, update, whenever you change values, and then it stores information within Glific.
Okay.
Great. Anything else? Anybody has any other questions?
I had one question, Abhishek. I think I might have missed this. You must have already conveyed this. So that sheet has multiple tabs, right? So in the sheet integration, we select the tab also. So one sheet, we can store all our flows in different tabs and then use that sheet itself. Right?
Yeah, okay, great question, Shweta. So basically you need to add each tab in this as a row here. So here, when we are saying sheet, so actually our nomenclature is this entire thing is a file and all of your tabs are kind of sheets. So each of these need to be saved in Glific because the URL changes, right, for each of them. And then you can reference it.
Got it. Understood. Okay. So we are using URL to reference.
Yeah. Also one, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just trying to say that, so one more thing that you'll have to take care of is that let's not change the structure of the sheet as well when you're using it. So if you put, because if you're referencing message English, and if you change the key column, then that breaks the flow. So first column will always be key. You can add more columns, and that's why like we've kept column name as the as the reference point, not like cell C or D or E. But like keeping it consistent will help you, not break the flow when it gets used. Especially changing the names of the columns should avoid. That's all.
Understood. Got it. Is there any limit to number of rows or number of columns that we can add?
No, I don't think so. No.
No, I think not right now. But yeah, like don't put in like thousands of columns or rows. It will break at some point.
Yeah, that'll be hard to manage
It's
itself.
complicated also.
So I think this will be ready for you all to try out early November. We'll take another week to develop this, right, Shimon? And then
Yeah.
you can also experiment with your use cases. Yeah, we'll come up with the documentation and everything as well. But if you have any other questions or anything you want to discuss, just let us know. Feel free to like email me and we can take it up. So just last call. If anybody has any questions, then let's ask, else we can probably close this session.
Abhishek, I do. If you want to take it now, I could do that, or I could.
Yeah, let's take it. Let's take it.
Okay, all right. So in our case, I'm just wondering how would this look like? So the key you said will be the reference point for the messages, right?
Yeah,
And that can be anything based on what our use cases.
correct.
Okay, all right. And I understand that the number of columns can be any number, but generally, will this have to be like the format that we follow?
Yeah.
Key, day, message, video link, if any.
No, so apart from key, you can have any columns.
Okay, apart from, okay, understood. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think just for starters, this is the only thing that I have so that I can discuss with the others as well. But I'm sure we'll have a lot of questions when we actually get started with it. So I'll, park them for then. Because this is the first time we are, going through this entire flow, right? So I don't want to like confuse myself any further. I'll keep that.
No, we are also going through this first time. So happy to take all questions.
Okay. All right. For now, this is it. Let me come back to you.
Sure. Thank you. We also have, yep. Shimon, can you take that?
For now, like interactive messages, we can update. For template messages, we'll still go into phase 2. For phase 1, the starting point will not include the template messages as such, because template messages takes in something called as ID or UUID that you need to provide, that we need to send to WhatsApp. Yeah.
Right. So if we have UUID, that I think we get that from Gupshup or template name, then we can use it in this automation.
Yes. But yeah, there's no such thing in flow. You need to like I'll quickly show you in that case. If I'll go to a flow, let's suppose. So I want to send a template. Template will be selected from here. So this will be a variable, right? And here's something called as expression that we used to like put in variables. So yeah, the variable that you get from sheet, you'll be using it here, using a syntax that will be documented. Eventually,
Okay,
we'll
so
like move. Sorry.
Sorry. So this would be at results dot English message.
Yeah, @results dot sheet dot yeah, whatever the UID or something is there.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
But yeah, for now, like it will be Elixir function, and we'll try to improve the UI in that sense as well. Like get a template by ID or get a template by UID. So yeah, that is in next phase of planning.
Okay.
Okay, then super. Thank you all for attending and listening to this. We still want a lot of more questions and experiments that you all do. And let us know how we can make this a lot more easy to use, intuitive, and yeah. So thank you all for attending. We'll look out for your questions, if any. Bye.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks, Shamil.
Happy Diwali.